Hi, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to this podcast about visual storytelling that is also a video on visual storytelling. Glad to have you here. It has been some time since I uploaded the last episode. Sorry for that. But right now comes something very special. There was the Kino Kabaret here in Hamburg. A lot of independent filmmakers from all over the world gathered and did projects together. Quite an exciting time. I had the chance to take part, to be the camera guy for one or two of the projects, and I met a lot of very interesting people who are all great visual storytellers. And I also had the chance to talk to them and to interview them for the podcast. And this is episode 1, my interview with Jose Temok Lopez. He's originally from Mexico City, lives in Hamburg now. We did a film together. And here's the interview, which I recorded, by the way, with an Insta360 camera. So only one camera for the interview shots. This is also an experiment. This is also something about visual storytelling. Check it out, how you like that I get multiple camera perspectives with just one camera. If you're listening to this podcast right now, check it out on my YouTube channel. I put the link in the description. And I hope you enjoy the interview with Jose Temok Lopez. Thanks for being part of the visual storytelling podcast, Jose Lopez. We met here at the Kino Kabaret, where we have lots of filmmakers from all over the world, basically, doing a crazy week all together. And I would like to chat with you about visual stories, what inspires you. But first of all, tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Yes, I am Jose. I come from Mexico. I have been living for almost 10 years in Germany, in Hamburg, and I have studied media and then religion, and I like to combine the topics, but also I like to go into other stories related with human rights, especially about Mexico, things that are related with Mexico, but also I love comedy in general. I really like British comedy. Has really a big influence in me, like Monty Python and Hugh Laurie, or all like the classic Charlie Chaplin. So always like from classics, but also the contemporary comedy. And I try to write. I make my effort to write the scripts. And well, Kino Kabaret is a really great place to try to find other filmmakers and actors who can share with you their talents, and where you have really the opportunity to try your ideas.
It wasn't your first Kino Kabaret. You did like 3, I think, 3 or 4.
Yes,
yeah.
This is my third Kino.
Yeah. So what can you tell the listeners who are not familiar with Kino Kabaret? What is this basically about?
Yeah, as far as I know, Kino Kabaret, the Kino movement is something that is starting in Canada. I really don't know, but more than 20 years ago, and it expands to many countries in the world. In Mexico now there is a Kino Kabaret as well, and of course in Germany there is like one in Leipzig, Berlin, Hamburg. In Hamburg it's already this year the 17th time that is done here, and sometimes it's done in the Gängeviertel, or sometimes here where we are in Filmfabrik. And it's basically the idea of amateurs and professionals, or people who want to do a movie, and they have the opportunity to have a complete week to develop ideas and find collaboration and finish a movie in 2 or 3 days. And it's really very intense, because you have to work not only fast, but take decisions immediately about what you are doing. And then your movie is screened, and well, you enjoy it together with the people.
Okay. And this, for the viewers or listeners who are enjoying this podcast, maybe on the YouTube account, not just the listeners, you can watch this on YouTube as well. We have this 360 camera. that we use. It's the Insta360 One X, hard to say the name. And this is basically that location we are in right now. Is kind of part of that Kino Kabaret because we did it in this harbor section where we have all these old storehouses which are sometimes in use, sometimes they are completely renewed, which is going on, what is going on right here. So we chose this unusual location for an interview actually. So just two doors next to us are about 200 filmmakers from all over Europe and all over the world basically, who are in this crazy program for 1 week. You as a filmmaker with Mexican background, what are stories, visual stories that inspire you where you say this is something that is really visually inspiring for me? This is where I get ideas from. You mentioned British comedy, for example, but are there Mexican filmmakers also, people from Latin America where you'd say these are really inspiring people doing inspiring work?
I mean, yes, in Mexico we have now really a big cinema movement, and in the last years Mexican filmmakers have won a lot of prizes. You have González Iñárritu, you have Alfonso Cuarón, you have famous actors like Gael Garcia, and there's a lot of people who need to go abroad to do big productions, either not only to Hollywood but to different countries. But there is a lot of people who want to do cinema, but of course the Mexican reality also is very hard because we are in a very violent moment of the history of Mexico. There is very difficult for journalists to do their work. We have in the last years, we have maybe a rate of 100 journalists killed per year, and well, maybe I'm mistaken, but it's really high. And we are not officially in war, like in a country like where you have more clear political conflicts, like Iraq or Afghanistan. It's nothing like that, but still. The migration of Mexico, because Mexico is kind of the border between Central America and USA, and together with the narcos or the drug cartels, makes a very difficult situation, not only for people but also for artists who want to do art, and sometimes it's very heavy, the news and all the reality, that sometimes imagination and art also can help you to imagine a better future or something. I think that art cannot by itself change the reality, of course, but it can people maybe inspire to imagine a different society. It can point particular problems so that we can see ourselves, but also we can also see other societies to learn, or to find collaboration with others, because nowadays also our issues are more global. It's not just Mexico, but we are really linked with the world. Yeah.
You did a very interesting movie, and I had the chance to be part of it and do the camera work for you.
Thank you very much.
With pleasure. Thanks to you for having me. And that was a very humorous story. So humor is also a tool to maybe overcome injustice and maybe difficult situations in society as well, right?
Definitely. I think that humor helps you to see the same problems but from a different perspective. So you don't avoid the reality, but you maybe have a different attitude towards the same thing. So the story that I told in this film, Charlie Wong, is the story of a man that always makes mistakes, all the time takes wrong decisions. And I think that sometimes we feel that the decisions that we are taking maybe are not the right ones, but I think that doing mistakes it should be seen more like something natural. and maybe we shouldn't be so hard with ourselves, and just try, just do what we want to do, and learn from that, or maybe you never know how some decision will end, how it will change at the end. Maybe you just take something, it looks like it's right, it goes wrong, but maybe something goes wrong, and then at the end it brings something good. And I think that usually you can use whatever you experience to do something good, not only for you but also for others. And the story that I wrote about Charlie Wong, it's a man that uses his mistakes to help others. Yeah.
Thank you very much for this very interesting talk about visual storytelling, and I hope that our listeners here get something out of this, and hope to see you and hear you next time, be it in the camera, be it on 360, or be it on the podcast itself. Thank you so much for being there.
You're welcome. Thanks to you.
Right, thank you. That was a special 3 episodes in total with filmmakers that took part here in the Kino Kabaret. You can find the other episodes in the links below, and you can also follow my YouTube channel if you'd like, youtube.com/Matthias Dun, where you find tutorials on smartphone filmmaking and some updates, of course, during the next few weeks about the Mojo Fest, the Mobile Journalism Festival that took place in Galway, Ireland, with some interesting apps for filmmakers, especially for mobile filmmakers, and some interesting things to know about 360 cameras, such as the Insta360 One X. Because I think very interesting what you can do with these cameras. There's also a tutorial and a review here on this channel. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. Let me know if you listen to the podcast or if you like other versions of the podcast in video form. Quite interesting for me to know what you would like. And I hope to hear you soon, speak to you soon, see you soon, meet you somewhere, and I'll be back as soon as possible. See you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.